the end of this presentation, we hope you're able to grasp all the key concepts regarding self-presentation to a potential employer. We also hope you're able to construct a successful CV, including all the essential elements, as well as write an effective cover letter to be included along with a CV for a job application. And lastly, we hope you're able to conduct yourself appropriately at an interview. Now, in this presentation, we will discuss in some detail the three main types of a CV, what to put in a CV, its composition, and how to explain gaps in your CV. We'll also look at the cover letter and general interview tips for a successful job application process. There are three important points we must observe throughout the job application process, and these are brevity, which shall mean concise and exact use of words in writing. Paying attention to details, especially avoid a repetition of information. Research, search for specific roles that can help you match your skills to the job you're applying for. Now, the general idea is to match your positive attributes to the particular vacancy. For example, two organizations could advertise for an admin assistant post. However, once you look at the organizations in terms of culture, size, business model, etc., and the specific attributes of an admin assistant they're looking for as stipulated on their vacancy requirement, you may begin to understand why every application process requires a CV and cover letter written from scratch. In other words, you should never have a one-size-fits-all attitude towards writing a CV or cover letter. Now, there are three main types of a CV. The first and general CV that most people use is called a traditional CV or chronological CV. This is used to directly match a candidate's qualifications and work experience with the requirements for the job or position they are applying for. It consists of an overview of your experience and expertise, a reverse chronological order of your employment history, your education and qualifications, as well as any additional relevant information. The second type of a CV is called a skills-based CV. This is used by candidates with gaps in their employment history or persons with limited work experience. You may also use this type of CV when applying for a job that is not directly relevant to your qualifications. And lastly, we have the academic CV. This is primarily for teaching and research positions advertised by a college or university. It allows you to highlight research and teaching experience, publications, grants and fellowships, professional associations and licenses, awards, and any other relevant details. Now, the length of a CV. It is normally suggested that your CV should not exceed 2 A4 pages. Remember that interviewers normally have hundreds of CVs to look at, and so you want to provide a well-written summary of skills, education, and work experience you feel are relevant to the job you're applying for. Try to keep it concise if you want to hold an interviewer's attention. An exception to the 2 A4 page document rule is when you're applying for an academic CV, and sometimes for technical jobs that may require detailed explanations of various projects that relate to the job you're applying for. However, this information is normally specified on the vacancy advertisement. The composition of your CV. The structure and format of your CV will define its overall outlook and determine how the document will be read. Your CV should look flawless, professional, and easy to navigate. First of all, the recommended word processing program for your CV is Microsoft Word or Google Docs. Keep your format simple by sticking to a clean and crisp font that can be easily read. Now, your color scheme should be basic black text on white background. Do not be tempted to use fancy fonts and wacky color schemes in a bid to stand out. This will look unprofessional and could make the CV difficult to read. Use bold headings to divide the sections of your CV. This will help recruiters to navigate it when skim reading. Once you have the format, you need to structure it in a way that draws attention to your most valuable skills and creates a pleasant reading experience. What to include in a CV? Of course, your contact details. Your name and contact details should be at the top so recruiters can easily see how to contact you. Your personal statement. Your CV, profile, or personal statement is a brief introductory paragraph that summarizes your abilities. It aims to grab recruiters' attention when the CV is first opened. To write a successful profile, you must keep it short and sharp, normally somewhere between 5 and 10 lines. Pack it with in-demand skills and experience, but please avoid using cliché terms like hardworking team player. Remember, the idea is to stand out and excite the reader, so a bit of creativity will go a long way here. Your skills. A bullet-pointed list of your most relevant skills provides a snapshot of your offerings as a candidate. Split your core skills over 2 or 3 columns. And you must keep the points under 3 words ideally, so that they jump off the page and create a snapshot of your offerings, which can be digested in seconds by a busy recruiter. It is a great tool for making sure readers stick to your CV and do not skip a part of it. Now, these points should be heavily tailored towards the target roles of the job you're applying for. These may include your experience of specific roles, your qualifications, market or industry knowledge, any language skills or IT skills, your work experience. This section gives you a great opportunity to demonstrate your ability to apply your skills in the workplace and prove the impact you make. Your work experience should be listed in reverse chronological order to showcase your ability to apply yourself in the workplace. Thus, latest to oldest, with plenty of details in recent roles and less detail for older roles. The reason for this is that employers are most interested in your recent work, as it gives a better reflection of your current capabilities. If you don't have any direct paid work experience, you can also add voluntary roles, school or university work placements, part-time jobs, or any brilliant example where you have worked to support a company or organization, or even a community. When writing role descriptions within your CV, you need to ensure that you make it easy for recruiters to read them and process the information you are trying to get across. Head each role or job position with dates you were employed, name of the employer, and your role title. Follow with a short introductory line which describes who the employer was, where you sat within the organization, and what the overall goal of the role was. This sentence builds context for readers. Then, list your responsibilities in short, concise bullet points. Try to showcase your full set of expertise and demonstrate how your actions positively impacted the employer. Most importantly, try to round your roles off with impressive achievements that have made big positive impact for your employer. Try to quantify these achievements with facts and figures where you can to truly show how valuable you can be. For example, if you saved costs or generated revenue, saving company time, hitting or exceeding targets, but then quantify it. Perhaps mention how you exceeded targets by, say, 20%. Now, your education section. Your education section should provide a list of all the relevant qualifications you have, along with dates obtained and the educational institution you attended. What not to include in a CV? There are a number of items that should not be included in your CV, or at the very least, be included with some caution. For example, an email address that has inappropriate wording or nickname. Your postal address or physical address, marital status, this should not be relevant for a professional position. The words CV, your date of birth, unless specifically requested, this should not be relevant for the job you're applying for. Your photographs, and then hobbies. Hobbies and interests are an optional section. You should only include them if you feel they will have a positive effect on your application. Common interests such as dancing or watching movies will not make a big impression on anybody, so it is best to keep them out. However, if you have interests that are related to your target roles, then it would be beneficial to include them. For example, if you're applying for a writing position, you may include your personal blogging experience. This would give you a chance to showcase more relevant skills and experience. It can also help to include impressive achievements such as running a marathon or raising money for charity. These type of achievements can show that you are driven and help you to stand out, especially if you have limited work experience. Explanation of gaps. There may be a time when at an interview you find yourself in a situation where, for whatever reason, you are asked to explain gaps in your CV. Think of scenarios such as returning to university, traveling abroad, taking a break to raise a child, etc. Whatever reason that created a gap in your work history. Now, a lot of people struggle with an explanation to this question, but do not panic. Learn to respond to this question in a natural and truthful manner. Be open, be honest, and make sure you can reflect that answer in a way that doesn't make you look irresponsible. Before you go for an interview, read through your CV to prepare yourself for such questions that may potentially catch you off guard. Good preparation is key. The cover letter. If you're applying for a job, it is vital that you have a strong cover letter to go with your CV. A good cover letter will help you build rapport with recruiters and greatly increase your chance of landing a job interview. So let's look at what a cover letter looks like and how you can draft a very good one for yourself. A cover letter is a small piece of text or brief note that accompanies your CV whenever you submit a job application. Its aim is to firstly introduce you to the recruiter, to build rapport with the person you're approaching, and ultimately to encourage them to look at your CV. When using the traditional postal service, that's physically posting your application package, you are advised to write your cover letter separate from the CV. On email, however, depending on the specific requirements of the application, a cover letter can be written in the body of the email and not as an attachment. The general idea is to quickly attract the recipient's attention. In this manner, you can simply attach your CV to the completed email. When writing the cover letter, start by addressing the recipient hopefully by their correct name and title. It is important to use the correct salutation such as Dr., Ms., Mrs., or other. The first paragraph. Your first paragraph should allow you to introduce the reason for writing. State clearly about the job you're applying for. And in the second paragraph, this will have the bulk content of your cover note. In this paragraph, you will explain why you are suitable for the job. Things to include in this section are your relevant skills, qualifications, current situation, transferable skills, all of this in summary. Most importantly, your motivation for applying for this particular job. The last paragraph expresses, you should express your interest and eagerness to further discuss this position in an interview. This conversation happens in the last paragraph. At the end, sign off professionally and add your signature. Now, I would encourage you to learn how to attach an electronic signature to your email. The entire cover letter can be written in 6 sentences. The purpose of the cover letter is to simply persuade the recruiter to open your CV. Remember to sell yourself and demonstrate that you're a suitable candidate for the job you're applying for. Now, I have compiled a helpful list of tips to prepare a job seeker for an interview. This list will be provided for you on email together with CV templates. A useful rule of thumb is to be prepared, punctual, confident, and courteous. You must learn to carry yourself in a professional manner. Of course, on your way to an interview, please, please, please take note to look professional. We have come to the end of the presentation. Thank you for paying attention.